Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Oakey Oaks Radio, the number one top-rated Chicken Little podcast. I am your host, Galaxy Lemur, or just Lemur for short. And, today I'd like to introduce you to the realm of Chicken Little and the Chicken Little Nation, what I stand for, and why you should become a part of this, and, maybe give you a short little beginner's guide to Chicken Little. So this is the first episode of the podcast, Oakey Oaks Radio, but think of it as kind of a precursor, a countdown to Oakey Oaks Radio, if you will. Nice little pilot episode, because I'm just going to be giving you the rundown on, what's up. So, hello, as I said earlier, my bad. My name is Lemur, and I am the founder and CEO of Chicken Little Nation, and I am just here to spread my message and, really rally together and bring the word out about Chicken Little. So we have a Discord server, Chicken Little Nation. There'll be a link in the description. We also have an Instagram account, at Chicken Little Nation on Instagram. Go ahead and follow. So, that's where you can find us. You can find me, speak to me directly, or speak to some of the other good fellow members of the Chicken Little Nation, one of which made the art that you're looking at right now. It's at Hazmax on both Instagram and Twitter, I believe. So go and check him out. He makes beautiful art. All right, so let's just jump right into this, shall we? Chicken Little is something that I feel like is so powerful and impactful. I feel like a lot of people may vaguely remember the movie from their childhood, something like that. And I think the movie is very funny. It's very entertaining. So I think in that sense, it really does work for children. But now, the movie's been out for 14 years, and a lot of people who remember it from their childhood are more grown up and are adults now. And I think now is the time that we really need to fully analyze and deep dive into some of the themes behind Chicken Little. And, that's my goal here with Oakey Oaks Radio, is really to bring to light all of these deep and interwoven themes throughout the script. Now, this episode will be going up on National Chicken Little Day, which is just so beautiful to me. It'll mark the 14th anniversary of Chicken Little hitting theaters, debuting all across America. And, I think that this day just marks such a historical landmark in history because, this will go down in the history books hundreds of years from now. October 30th, 2005. It'll just go down as one of the days that the world changed. You know what I mean? Like, you'll look through Time magazine, pictures from the last 100 years, you'll see Neil Armstrong on the moon, you'll see big events like 9/11, for example, and then you'll just see Chicken Little, because he has such an impact on the way we think today. And, National Chicken Little Day is already spreading across the nation as just such a beautiful holiday. Tons of people are taking off school. Tons of schools are just completely canceled just so that people can be with their family to truly celebrate Chicken Little. And, that's what Chicken Little is all about. It's about bringing people together. You have Ace Cluck, Chicken Little, and his father, Buck Cluck. And throughout the movie, they're just brought together, and they have a deeper connection with each other because of some of the events from the movie. And yeah, Chicken Little was really embarrassed with the whole sky is falling incident. Frankly, his dad was kind of disappointed in him, but in the end, they were brought together, and that was all just through Chicken Little's determination, his perseverance. All he needed was a chance. That's a very powerful line, and when he gets that chance, he wins the championship for the Acorns, for baseball. He brings it home, and, he's brought together with his father. He saves Oakey Oaks from an alien invasion, and I think we all just can look up to Chicken Little as, such just a hero and such a beautiful role model for what we as humans should always strive to be. Because sometimes it may feel like the sky is falling around us, and we may kind of get a little flustered in our emotions, but in the end, we just need to take our chances to really bring together everything and to really prove to the world that we are magnificent and that we can thrive. And, I was just so inspired by Chicken Little's message. And so that's why I created the Chicken Little Nation. Because a lot of people will ask me, why Chicken Little? And frankly, it's a question that I scoff at. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it kind of answers itself. Why Chicken Little? Because it's Chicken Little. He's a hero. He's the hero of Oakey Oaks. And he's just something that we all need to strive to be. So, as I said earlier, that's why I started Chicken Little Nation. And, I think that it's something that has really needed to be brought to the light, and something that has been brought to the light, as the Chicken Little Nation is one of the fastest growing fan bases on the entire internet, and it's one of the biggest. And so it's just really such a beautiful, strong group of people that can really just be brought together through the message of Chicken Little. And I've got plenty of more stuff planned for you as we dive into further episodes of Oakey Oaks Radio. We can talk about the video games. They released 2 video games. We can dive into some of the unreleased content with the first movie and some of the plans for a second movie. And, I'm hoping that through this podcast, we can really bring to light how much people want more Chicken Little. Because Chicken Little is seen as many as a dead franchise, and that brings tears to my eyes. Because it's just something that's flat out false. I think everybody needs more Chicken Little, and they certainly want it. Chicken Little 2, there's a few different titles that people tossed around for that. Mission to Mars, Ugly Duckling Story. It was never really confirmed which was going to be the title. But I think it's such a tragedy that, this was canceled. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to wrap my head around. It's something that we will dive deeper into in a further episode. But, I really have to look back on it and just, it really does make me sad. But, that's what this is all about. That's why we need to rise up and, really prove to society that Chicken Little is something that needs to be explored more deeply. And so, really my goal with this first episode, or episode 0, if you will, the pilot episode, is really just to give some... It's a little prologue, if you will. It's just something that I want to throw out so that everyone can be truly immersed in the coming episodes. So that's kind of my goal here. And I want to give a little background on Chicken Little and kind of a Chicken Little beginner's guide for those who may not really fully understand the scope of his heroics. So Chicken Little was a movie that released in 2005 by Disney. It was the first 3D animated Disney movie, which is, obviously it's already sets it as a landmark. But not only that, it was the first movie ever to reach $1 trillion at the box office. And so it kind of proves to how much of an impact Chicken Little had, There were tons of rallies and stuff really promoting Chicken Little. So, if you look up chronological order of the release dates of Chicken Little material, you will find that the video game that released actually came out before it. And so while many people may think that this is the true origin for Chicken Little, I would recommend watching the movie at least I'd say 10 to 20 times first to really just fully take in the themes, because I hear a lot of people who watch it once and they just don't understand, and I'm like, if you don't understand, then you clearly have not watched it enough, because you definitely do need to watch it multiple times to really take it in. And once once you think that you've at least reached an apprenticeship in Chicken Little lore, then you can kind of move on to the video games, and kind of deep dive into some of the bonuses that were in the DVD, which is something we'll also talk about at a later date. So the movie released to obviously critical acclaim. It was frankly just perceived as one of the best animated movies ever released, and it still is one of the best movies, period, for that matter. From the beautiful animation and artwork, Chicken Little his animation is so expressive, his model is so crisp and detailed, and his characters, or his friends too, the characters in the movie, you have Chicken Little, obviously, he's brave, he's heroic, he's kind, he's caring, he's resourceful, he's smart, kind of an all-arounder, just a prime being, if you will. Then you have Abby Mallard, his beautiful love interest. She's kind, she cares for Chicken Little. She's always there in his time of need. She's always there to support him. My bad. She's also very funny, and she's also kind of laid back, but she's also willing to put her foot down. And then you have kind of the quirky, goofy jokester of the group, Fish Out of Water. And I might have to do a whole episode just on Fish because his background is so intriguing to me. Because he's such a, because on the surface he's all like goofy and funny, but deep down you can really see some psychological like character studies with him. They really take a deep dive into the mind of Fish Out of Water, and you can really see kind of some of the psychosis that goes around him, and just some of his philosophical morals are also explored, as his moral compass is kind of skewed, and sometimes he kind of snaps. So he's one of the most interesting characters to me, and he's definitely one of the strongest. Not to say that they aren't all strong, because they are all definitely strong. You have Run of the Litter, who is, frankly kind of the worst character. He's definitely one of the low points of the movie. Not because of his writing or anything, but just in his incessant, incompetent behavior. It's frankly disgusting to me. Run of the Litter is definitely someone who, in Fish Out of Water's eyes, would need to be cleansed from the world, but that's kind of besides the point. As we jump into, Chicken Little's family, you have Buck Cluck, his loving father, and although sometimes he doesn't properly show that love to Chicken Little, he does love him, and that's kind of what's so beautiful about it. And we see at the end, he really does love him, and he always is supportive. And although it's not easy for him, because Chloe Cluck, Chicken Little's mother, has, presumably passed away before the start of the movie. And so you can kind of see Buck Cluck's psychological struggles as he tries to cope with the loss of a loved one, and as Chicken Little tries to cope with the loss of, his mother, one of the leading figures in his life. And so that's kind of where the beauty of their relationship kind of comes into play, you know what I mean? And so that's something that's just, it's so heartwarming, and it's something that a lot of people can relate to, I feel like. And Chicken Little is truly something a lot of people can relate to, You may get flustered and caught up in your emotions, He said the sky was falling and nobody believed him, but in the end, he kind of pushed past that. In his own words, all he needed was a chance. And so at the end, he really rose up to society, and he, filled the shoes of a hero to save Oakey Oaks from that alien invasion. And it's really just beautiful to me. So, I don't really want to go too deep into some of the other Chicken Little media, because it's something that I want to explore in its own contained episode. But you do have the Chicken Little video game, which is definitely one of the best video games I've ever played. It's got the cinematic story from the movie. It's got thrilling gameplay. It's all around just, such a beautiful game. If you don't believe me, IGN, they have a top 100 games list, and if you scroll to the bottom, you will see Chicken Little is number one. And there was another game. The first game was so good that they did decide to make a sequel. It's called Chicken Little Ace in Action. And it follows Commander Ace, who, if you have seen the original Chicken Little movie, which you definitely should. You will kind of be introduced to Commander Ace near the end, as he really is just the true embodiment of the spirit of Chicken Little. Obviously put into Chicken Little's peak physical form. And it's really, I'm so glad that they released it, because it really kind of gives us a deep dive into, some, not really an alternate universe for Chicken Little, but rather just the true embodiment of Chicken Little and what he stands for. And that's another amazing game, beautiful controls, amazing gameplay mechanics, another thrilling original story. What more could you ask for, And I think the need is definitely there for some kind of adaptation of Ace in Action, and it's fine, it's beautiful as a video game, but I think it'd be really cool to someday see Ace in Action come to life on the big screen, and then you also have a lot of other Chicken Little media outside that. On the DVD you can see kind of some of the alternate scenarios for Chicken Little. You can see deleted scenes and what Chicken Little would have been like as a girl, which is also very cool. But then you have more than that. You have storybooks, you have graphic novels, those sorts of things. And that's definitely something I would recommend to, Chicken Little experts who have seen the movie at least, 50 to 100 times, played the video game, 100% completed it thousands of times. It's something that I would definitely recommend for Chicken Little experts to kind of deep dive into to get some more of the lore. But if you feel to, because I understand that the Chicken Little lore can be very expansive, and that's honestly what makes it so beautiful, but at the same time, I'm kind of here to, I know that a lot of it can fly over people's heads because it is very, deep and very analytical, and so that's kind of why I'm here to bring that all to the surface for you, the viewer, so that you can really get the most out of Chicken Little. And we're getting kind of near the 20-minute mark, and although this is a very short episode, episodes coming after this will definitely be longer. This is just kind of, like I said, episode 0, a pilot, to really get you caught up on Chicken Little Nation. And so I think I've properly, introduced everything to you, and you now have a place to start. And so I will be seeing you all very shortly for episode 1, the debut of Oakey Oaks Radio. But until then, goodbye. And remember, although at times it may feel like the sky is falling around you, never give up, for every day is a new day. Thank you all so much, and happy National Chicken Little Day. Love you guys. Peace.